You're listening to Power 750 WAUG and online at power750.com. If you're looking for affordable health and insurance coverage, well then give Jonica Rowland of the Rowland Group a call. She's here to serve families, individuals, and small businesses. Contact her at 919-719-7211 or at 919-539-2492. Once again, contact Jonica Rowland of the Rowland Group.
Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of the BabeThomHerman Show with your host here, Herman Thomas, and I'm hoping you will enjoy your early morning coffee with BabeThomHerman. Now, today's show, I will be talking about the success and failures of the one-and-dones of men's college basketball drafted in the first round of the 2010-2011 NBA draft. Now, what I'll be talking about basically is the success and failures of these young men. I know that you might be saying, well, all of the one-and-dones haven't been drafted in the first round. Some have been drafted in the second round, of course, and some haven't been, unfortunately, some haven't been drafted at all. So I'll be going more into detail about the success and failures of some of the one-and-dones of college basketball. Now, before I do go into the topic of today's show, let's keep in mind that we are currently in the middle of the NBA's version of the Elite Eight. And when I'm talking about the Elite Eight, facing off in the East, of course, is currently Miami and the Miami Heat, Indiana. And just keep in mind that Miami is without the services now. We don't know when he'll be back at some point during the playoffs. Is Chris Bosh. He has suffered an injury to his abdomen, so he is basically out indefinitely, and that is certainly hurting the Heat at this time. Now, the second game, the other two teams representing the East in the Eastern semifinal round is the Boston Celtics and also the Philadelphia 76ers. So these four teams are definitely representing the NBA, the Eastern Conference. And with Bosh being injured, that series between Miami and Indiana is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. Now, on the West side, we have the LA Lakers versus the OKC Thunder, and you have the LA Clippers versus the San Antonio Spurs. I think that's going to end up being the Spurs versus OKC. Both teams are, just playing great basketball at this time. I mean, what other way is there to say? You can't say anymore. Both of these teams are playing very great basketball. It will be very interesting to see. It will be exciting to see the Lakers versus the Clippers, but it will, to me, be just as exciting to see the Spurs versus OKC. That will be a great series, and it looks like those two may be facing off in the Western Conference Finals. If you wanted to get further updates of the NBA playoffs, please feel free to go to NBA.com. Now, also to note, let's congrats are in order for the NBA's MVP, which is LeBron James. I felt like it was between him and Kevin Durant all season, especially mid-season. Both players kind of separated themselves from others as elite players this season. And also, we'd like to say congrats to Kyrie Irving of the Cleveland Cavaliers for being named the NBA's Rookie of the Year. Kyrie Irving certainly deserves that award. Now, also the NHL is in their playoffs as well, as they have come down. It has come down to their version of the Final Four. Of course, the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals. The Eastern Conference Finals representatives are the number 6 seed New Jersey Devils versus the number 1 seed New York Rangers. And on the west side is the number 8, to surprise number 8 seed LA Kings versus the number 3 seed Phoenix Coyotes. Now, this is going to be very interesting to see. It will be very interesting to see who gets into that finals. Either way, other than the New York Rangers, it's just a surprise to see the New Jersey Devil Rays and also the LA Kings just making it this far. Now, you may say all these guys are professionals, but I didn't see this coming at all. I thought possibly the Rangers would be in the thick of things, but in no way could I see the New Jersey Devils, of course, and the LA Kings going this far. And if you wanted to keep update with the NHL playoffs, Once again, please feel free to go to NHL.com. Also, Major League Baseball season is well on the way. You can keep updated at MLB.com, and as well as a local minor league team. If you want to keep up with the Durham Bulls, you can keep up with them at MILB.com or just Google Durham Bulls. Now, when I come back, I will definitely go into the topic of today's program, the success and failures of the most recent one and dones. And it's going to be very interesting because some people see success as personal success, and some people see can judge success by team success. So it's going to be interesting. Some of these players have had, that I will be talking about, have had decent seasons for the couple of years that some have been playing. Some had their breakout years, and some for their first, like Kyrie Irving, of course. You have to look and see his personal success versus the team success, what excitement he has. I can certainly say he's brought a lot of excitement back to Cleveland after LeBron's departure. So, it's just going to be an interesting topic, and I want you to sit back and just enjoy it. So when I come back from this brief break, I will go into the topic, the success and failures of the most recent one and dones. So please sit back and continue to enjoy your early morning coffee with BabeThomHerman.
A natural skincare studio. Now your new neighborhood skincare studio. Professional, friendly, relaxing, personalized attention. Now offering facials, natural manicures, pedicures, and waxing. Come check us out at 711 Iredell Street, Suite 3A, Durham, North Carolina, 27707. Give us a call at 919-416-1490 or check us out on our website at www.misseajbeauty.com.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, yeah, man, how you doing? You good? I know you like that. I know you like that. How long you been back, man? I see the girls in the club, they getting wild for me. And all the pretty chicks all want to smile at me.
And once again, that's a natural skincare studio located in Durham, North Carolina. So please feel free to give Eugenia a call and set up that appointment. Now, prior to break, I was talking about the NBA and the NHL playoffs that are currently underway. If you want to keep up with the NBA and keep up with the playoffs, please feel free to go to NBA.com. And if you wanted to keep up to date with the NHL hockey playoffs that are currently going on, you can go to NHL.com to keep up with their playoffs. Now, on today's show, I will be talking about the success and failures of the one and done of men's college basketball. The players that I'll be talking about today are from the 2010, 2011 drafts, the ones that were drafted in the first round. I know there's some that were picked in the second round, and some, unfortunately, like I said earlier, were not drafted at all. Some of them didn't heed the warning from critics to stay put, and like all of us, we have made decisions that we live to regret. And there's a couple of people on this list, players in particular, that are living to regret the decision they made by not staying put in college for at least a couple of more years, a couple of more seasons rather. Now, today, of note, of the defending national champion Kentucky Wildcats, we know they're losing their whole starting five to this year's, the 2012 NBA draft. And many are saying that those top five will be drafted. It's in particular Anthony Davis, who's projected to be the first overall, and the other four are predicted to be somewhere in that first round. A lot of critics, including the worms from the NCAA, they have said they're not pleased with one and done, and then they backed off of that statement saying that there's no issue. And I'm talking about Mark Emmert, of course, the president of the NCAA, who has retracted on his criticism of the one and done rule. And as we all know, a lot of people are pointing fingers saying the NBA is at fault, the NCAA is at fault. But in my eyes, the NCAA are the worms that have created this fiasco. Let's see what Roscoe P. Coltrane has to say about those worms.
brings you out to crack a dawn, boss?
I'll tell you what brings him out. He knows you're an early bird, and him being a worm, he plans on catching you.
What?
And I certainly thank Sheriff Roscoe Pete Coltrane telling us about those worms. Now, the topic of today, I'm going to, like I stated earlier, let's look at 2010 one and done. 7 were taken in the first round. We're going to just do some of them going to be out of order in the 2010 because of Kentucky. The Wildcats had 4 players taken, and we're just going to, without confusing you, I'm just going to just categorize the Kentucky players first. First overall pick, of course, chosen by the Washington Wizards, was John Wall. How has John Wall done or performed so far in his first 2 seasons of the NBA? Team has no winning record or playoffs. You know, of course, no winning records. You're not going to be in the playoffs. So, of course, no playoff since his arrival. So far in 2 years, he has averaged 16.3 points per game. Shooting percentage is at about 41%. Now his assist per game is pretty good at 8.2. So these are his seasons average for 2 seasons. Not bad. Great personal success. Team success, not great. So he's one of the players that has had pretty decent numbers. So his personal success is great or good, but the team success is terrible. Let's go to DeMarcus Cousins, and of course John Wall is plays point guard. Let's go to DeMarcus Cousins, the center, who was chosen from Kentucky, out of Kentucky, to the Sacramento Kings as the number 5 overall pick in the 2010 draft. No playoff appearances for teams. Of course, that means he has a losing record. The team has a losing record since his arrival. Had it prior to it as well, so no big difference. Point per game average is 15.9 for his 2 seasons. 9.7 rebounds per game. I think personal success, decent numbers. Once again, the success of the team is not good. So, you know, that's almost like Wall's. Numbers of first points per game are a little similar to Wall. So both of them having pretty good personal success with their numbers. Eric Bledsoe, let's look at him. Point guard, number 18 overall pick in the 2010 draft. Picked by the LA Clippers out of Kentucky. 5.6 points per game. 2 assists per game. Things looked bright until the Clippers traded for Chris Paul. Eric was going to be projected as getting some great minutes this season, but you know, his role, he has played a great backup role to Chris Paul and coming in at times playing the 2 spot. I would say, you know, the numbers, not much of a success from a personal standpoint, but this season in particular, the LA Clippers are in the playoffs. So his contribution to their success is, I judge that as a great success because of his contribution to team success. So a lot of people will look at his numbers and say, well, 5.6 points per game and 2 assists per game is not nothing to brag about or anything to brag about. Sorry for the English. But look at his contribution to the team's success. He's a primary backup to Chris Paul, the starting point guard for the Clippers. So I would say, you know, he's having a decent, you know, it might not be the numbers that Wall and DeMarcus Cousins may have, but from a team success standpoint, very successful from that end. Let's go to Daniel Orton, the center, picked out of Kentucky, number 29th pick in the 2010 draft, drafted by the Orlando Magic. You just saw, remember I said he was drafted in the 2010 draft. He just saw his first action this past season, or this season, 2011-2012. He played 16 games, 2.8 points per game. Now, the team did make the playoffs. 2010, it was announced that Orton would be sent to the New Mexico Thunderbirds of the NBA D-League Development League. In his second game for the Thunderbirds, Orton suffered a season-ending knee injury. So he just recovered from that injury, but he did contribute to 16 games for the Orlando